Hey everyone, sorry we're a bit late. Things always happen, and that would be me today trying to finish off editing our new ebook coming out later this week. But today I hope you are going to be excited to join me in the kitchen to see our cauliflower and cheese buns made live, just so you all know just how easy they are. They are one of our most popular recipes. It has been kicking around on our website since 2018. I'll get Dave to drop the link into the feed should you not have it. It's in the original post anyway, but it's a recipe that we've been posting quite a bit lately as everybody's been having a bit of fun making them. So I'm going to get straight into the cooking, and I'm going to show you a few ideas on how to make them slightly different. Today I'm going to put a bit of green onion in mine because we just finished off, or we've got one left of the batch that I made earlier in the week. So yes, I even eat them. And also a way to serve them and give you some serving ideas as well. I'm just going to quickly check and see that the live is working because I can't see anything right now. Let's refresh that screen. Sorry, I always struggle with all this stuff, don't I? But it won't. Come on, Facebook. That's happening now. Okay, I can see myself there. Let's click on that, and then I can see anything that anybody says. So we'll have a quick look at questions and answers. So if you've got any questions regarding any of the ingredients, just pop them in the thread and I'll have a look at them soon. So what I've done is I've got all my ingredients out because I like to just get into this really quickly. So I'm not stuffing around and wasting your time on a Sunday afternoon. So we use cauliflower. I'm using fresh cauliflower today. 500 grams is what you need. You can use frozen cauliflower as well. You could do this with any other vegetable like pumpkin, sweet potato, broccoli. They would not look quite as nice because they'd be quite grey. But you can actually substitute the vegetable or make a combination if you like. So 500 grams of cauliflower it is. We've got around about 1.5 cups of shredded mozzarella. That's what I'm using today. Mine is actually like a pizza blend, so it's got a bit of parmesan, I think, in it as well. So it's 140 grams or around about 1.5 cups, okay? I've got some coconut flour and some almond flour there to help bind it. If you can't have nuts, you could use hemp seeds or hemp seed flour. I'm not really a fan of the flour as such. I really prefer to use hemp seeds. They are quite absorbent. They give it a little bit of a nutty feel with no nuts at all. And they actually increase your protein and omegas in the buns as well. I've got some double acting baking powder. It's only like 1 teaspoon of baking powder. You can add a little bit more if you want it to puff up. But I always use the aluminium gluten-free one. We've got some salt, some butter, which I'm going to add into my meat in a minute. 4 eggs, so I've got 4 room temperature eggs. I always use large eggs. If anyone's ever following any of my recipes, I do tend to write large eggs or whole eggs if I'm using whole eggs in the recipes as well. And I'm actually using our Chicago smoker seasoning, but I have written ranch seasoning, which is one of my favorite ingredients that I use a lot of in the recipe. But I actually used up the last of my batch this week. I just haven't made another one yet because I know at the moment I don't have any recipes that I'm going to be making using that. So I'll just wait till I'm getting ready to do some different bakes and vegetable things and stuff like that. I've also got a little bit of our everything but the bagel spices. This is going to go over the top. And normally I would do these with bacon. So, and just cooked crispy bacon into the mix. You can do it as just raw, like just cured if you like, or diced leftover ham or speck, prosciutto, whatever you want. But I actually ate the last of the bacon today. You might have seen Dave's picture. We actually had some of these for our meal for the day, and I had 4 rashers of bacon and they were just popped on the top for both of us. But I had some chorizo. So I had the air dried chorizo in the fridge. So I have diced up a whole sausage and I've fried that off already. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it back on the heat, because what I do in the first step is cook the bacon and I add the butter just to melt it through. So then I'm only doing it in one pan. I don't have to put, now I know I've got mine all in little bowls, etc. But if I was making this at home without getting out, all my mise en place and everything like that, I would just cut the butter on the board and throw it straight into the pan. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that on and just get that warm now. Oops, wrong one. Okay, and I'm going to pop my butter in there, and it's just to melt it, to add it through my cauliflower mix. Now, to make cauliflower rice, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to put spring onions in mine. I thought I might do something different, seeing we've eaten them a couple of times lately. I'm just going to add some different flavours, see how they turn out. Hopefully they turn out all right. I'm sure they will. But if you don't have a food processor at home and you want to make cauliflower rice, the best way to do it is just with a box grater. That's it, as simple as that. Or good old chop, chop, chop. I know you can't see it at the moment. It's something that's been really annoying me a lot lately because obviously video has really taken over on Instagram and Facebook. And I see so many cooks using chopping boards on a bench with nothing underneath it. Now there is like an anti-skid mat underneath this. And as you can see, this is like a really heavy board, but it is really hard to move it. And when I chop, it stays exactly where it is. So make sure you put something under it. If you don't buy these little anti-skid mats to go underneath your cutting boards, you can always just wet one of your Chuck's cloths, not necessarily a brand, but one of the dishcloths, and pop it underneath. That was one of our old tricks when I used to work in commercial kitchens. To do that. So what I do now is I'm going to do mine in the thermi just because it's quick and easy, and then all our thermi lovers can also see it in there. So if I was doing this in a food processor, depending on the size, I would do this in 2 batches. So I'm just putting in half of the cauliflower now. I've just got my recipe here that I put on the website, but I think it's 4-second speed 5 that we do our cauliflower. I do a lot of cauliflower rice. I like mine to be slightly chunky. You can do it more, and you could even do this with a mash if you wanted to. But if you do your mash, just keep an eye on that. If you say using my mash, which is very creamy, you might need to add a little bit more of the fillers, as in the coconut flour and the almond flour, just to thicken it up a little bit. But just put it in, leave it for some time, and just see how we go. Okay, so 4-second speed 5. I'm just going to chop up this first batch. Okay, and then we're going to pop in our next lot. Putting in 500 grams of cauliflower, if you put it all in one go, you still end up with it a bit chunky. This way, it will just break it up a little bit more. So it breaks up the first lot, and then the next lot of cauliflower gets a chance to get down to the bottom. I'm just going to grab a spatula anyway. I'm such a hands-on still, even with something like this. But I'm going to pop that in there, and another 4-second speed 5, and then we're just going to toss in everything else. 4 seconds. Speed 5. Oh, speed 6. All right, turn that off. I'm just going to set that aside. Normally I would leave my bacon to cool a little bit and the butter to cool a little bit, but anyway. Okay, so in goes our cheese. And we'll just check and see that I'm not doing anything that I don't normally do. But yes, everything goes in, including the remaining cauliflower, which we've done, and then we're just going to shake them. So it's as simple as that. So we've got coconut flour. If you can't have coconut flour, you could try the hemp seeds and that as well. I haven't tested a lot of things with this recipe because it's such an old one. And while I redid this recipe just last week for the website, I have been finishing off a cookbook that I've been working on for 6 months. So it was kind of like just get something done, do some new fresh photos for everybody so that you've got something nice on the website that you can make and enjoy. And we really enjoy these. Like even Dave was like, oh, cool, like when I said I was going to redo this recipe. So I popped everything in there. Now I said I would put in some green onions, so we'll do that just while that chorizo's cooling a little bit. I'm just going to chop off my end. I've got a little jar over here with some water. If you don't do this, you can pop your green onions in a little jar of water and it'll grow in your kitchen. I tend to put mine in there before I go outside and just pop them into, I've got, I'm pointing at the wall, but just through the dining room window, I can see it. I've got like all my herbs and that out there. So I actually just go out there, poke a hole in the dirt, pop them in the dirt, and I've got fresh green onions all the time. So I'm just going to slice that up nice and fine. And I'm going to put some in the mix, and I'm going to reserve some for our topping as well. Now, like even with that fried chorizo, if I wanted to, I could have taken some of it out of the pan before I put the extra butter in there and used some for the topping as well. You don't need to top these with anything. They're like, you know, like I say, they are called a bun. You could use this, I'm just going to put that in the sink because my bin's just around the side. Yeah, they're called a bun, but like you can use them like as any sort of toast and stuff like that. So if you had like a flatbed toaster, you could pop, you know, one in there with the chorizo and some scrambled egg or something like that. That wasn't really a good cut there, but anyway. I'm going to reserve some of that and just pop it in this bowl over here because I know I'm going to use that to mix. So we've got some green onions in there. So this is not in the recipe, but it's kind of like one of those things. They're like a fritter in the oven, but not, like, because really other than that 60 grams of butter that I've just popped into this pan, they're not fried in oil or have any oil in them. So you will see, let's see if I pour it that way instead. You can see the butter. I'm going to pop in this chorizo. Get that butter in there because so I'm just going to keep a little bit of that. If I remember, I'll put it on the top. It'll just be that nice little garnish, you know, and you know I'm like the queen of garnishes on everything that I do. So now I'm going to put that in here. I think it's 20 seconds, reverse speed 3, 15 seconds, reverse speed 3. So if you were doing this in a bowl, it's just a quick stir. It's not hard. You don't need to have any kind of food processor. I'm just a little bit lazy, and I know we've got a lot of Thermi lovers anyway. So I just engaged the reverse, and now I'm just putting that on for speed 3. Oops. I always forget something and it's right in front of me. Eggs. Ding dong. Hang on. In go the eggs. Speed 3. So I put all that on my baking tray already ready with my liner to shape these straight onto it. Now you can do this mixture. Oh, I do want that spatula. In pie makers, chaffle makers, pie tins. So I'm actually going to do a little bit myself. Oh, and I'm just stirring. Like I said, I'm just such a manual person anyway, but just making sure that it's evenly combined. I'm going to pour this scoop it into a glass bowl just so you can see what it looks like. So you can see, because like while I was put it in basically using a food processor function there, I engaged it in reverse so that, for those of you who don't know, a Thermomix has blades on the bottom of it and it can chop. So if I turn it on reverse, it's only like stirring it, not chopping it. So the chorizo stayed in its little cubes. So there'll be nice chunky bits through it. Another thing that I think would be really nice in this is instead of adding all the cheese in a shredded form, you could actually add some cubed or add cream cheese, or I've got some feta here, or goat's cheese through it, and mix it through so it's like still chunky, so you get those really nice little cheesy nuggets in your bun. I don't know. I still just call them buns because that's what I called them in 2018. But anyway, so as you can see, it's like a kind of ricey. I guess it kind of looks like a risotto. Essentially, that's what it looks like, a cauliflower risotto, and we're going to shape it. Of course, it's got I was going to say corn flour. No corn flour. It's got coconut flour and almond meal in it, so that binds it. But essentially, it does look kind of like a risotto. Okay, Megan, now just take notice of what you're doing. I have mixed it all up. Now we would shape it. And as I said, you could cook this multiple ways. So I thought today we will. Nothing like having a bit of an experiment. And I might even do this in this one. Let me just grab some cheese. I know I've got. I think I've got. I say I know I've got and then say I think I've got. I do. I have a little bit of that left over. Smoky chipotle cheddar and tasty cheese from Coles, I think it is. No, Woolworths. There you go. Totally wrong. I've got this dish. I haven't even greased it or anything like that, so we're just going to pray to the food gods that it's going to come out. I'm going to spoon some in here, but I'll show you how to quickly make the other ones in a second. I'm going to just do this like as a thin base, I thought. And again, you could do this as a chunk or something like that, say a slice of cheese. One of those, have you seen the logs of brie? A big thick disc of that brie cheese in the centre of this would be, oh God, that would be good. So if I was doing this, not on camera right now, I'd be adding jalapenos in there as well too. Then I'm going to add another scoop of this over the top. I'm going to bake this one like this, and then we'll see how she comes out. So basically what I did is I did a base of the bun mixture. I've done some cheese into the centre. So you can think of all the different ones you could put in there, whether it's a burger, it's Mexican, mince, it's, you know, shredded beef or shredded chicken, tuna, salmon, anything like that. Into this pie tin. Little sprinkle of these. I won't pour it over while I'm on camera because it's likely just to pour all over it. Everything but the bagel for me adds a lot of flavour. So basically it's like a little bit of garlic, onion, poppy seeds. I put nigella seeds in mine and sesame seeds. But it also makes it look pretty too. So I'm just going to pop that in the oven right now. Oops, wrong thing. That'll probably just take 5 minutes while we're doing this, but I just want to keep an eye on the time and that as well too, so then I can tell you later. So for the way I would normally do this, I use an oversized egg ring. Now I did measure this today. I think it's like 4 inches across, 10 centimeters, and that's your standard one. Okay, so I've got those. I've got these silicone ones as well that I've had forever, and I got these new ones off Amazon. So Dave and I have been arguing, do you put the egg in, because it's got a little lip, do you put it in this way first, lift, then flip, and it'll come out. And then when you lift this off, the egg is in there perfectly, and it's got a kind of little shape in there. So anyway, we're going to have fun with that one. Now, what did I say I was going to do it with? If I was going to shape this straight into the pan, I would do it that way anyway, because you've got to flip it. Let's just try and see how one goes in the oven. I don't even know if they're oven proof, to be honest. Now, somebody did ask me in the question on the website if you just shape it with the egg rings, and yes, you do. So I just put in, say, 2 to 3 tablespoons of the mixture, or up to about half of the weight of the egg ring, and I just press it down. It's really easy. So this is a good one if you've got kids. You can get them into shaping the buns and stuff like that as well too. If you've got kids and they hate cauliflower, you could do this with potato, of course. Okay, then just press it off. I like kind of just flick in the edges a little bit so they don't end up with high edges, but it's just that simple. So I'll put one in one of these egg rings, and if it melts, well, then I'll ruin a batch, right? I don't think it will. It's obviously heat safe silicone, but we'll see how it goes if I do it that way and then try and turn it later. Nothing like a bit of fun for a Sunday afternoon, is there? Anyway, that one's in there. The silicone ones are nice and easy. They never seem to stick anyway, so again, I put in too much mixture there. But you can see, like, this is quite an easy recipe. So basically, if you're making it without a food processor, you only have to grate cheese, if you've got a block of cheese, or grate the cauliflower. Everything else is that easy, just to whip in there, mix it in a bowl with a spatula. You saw I just did that anyway. And then into your pan. You can fry these in oil. I have tried them, so you can shape them into a patty. So I'll just show you. I'll have to wash my hands straight after. But you can just shape patties and fry them off. Personally, I prefer it in the oven. I absolutely hate frying stuff. I know a lot of people love all their extra fats or whatever. You can still spray it with oil if you wanted to in for the oven, but I just prefer them this way. They come out, they can be picked up, they're not greasy to the touch. You can use them still for so many different things, and it's so easy. So as I said, you can do them in a chaffle maker. I've got a little chaffle maker, if you know what they are. It's a mini waffle iron maker thingy. I think chaffles have been around long enough that everybody knows what they are, right? So I'll put one in there and I'll show you how that turns out as well too. There is one on the just one that I just tossed in when I was making them the other day on the recipe on the website as well for you to see what they look like when they come out. The true key with chaffles is you just don't take it out of the chaffle maker till it's not sticking. So if your stick, because I don't spray it or anything like that, if your stick, then just leave it in there longer. Trust me, it should come out. I'll say that now and it won't bloody well come out when I go to get it out. But anyway, there's one person who doesn't mind looking like a fool. I guess that's me. Someone's got to do it. Okay. Have you seen that? It's our birthday today. So 6 years since we started this page, 6 years since we started our Facebook group. If you're not a part of the Facebook group, it's Mad Creations, Low Carbon Keto Recipes by Megan Ellen. I think that's the name of it. So we're going to pop this in. Oh, hang on. No, first we'll put our everything but the bagel on the top. So there is the 2 teaspoons of seasoning over this whole mixture, which makes, okay, by the looks of it, it's going to make around about 12. So a little bit of salt or pepper or anything on the top will actually help enhance it. But you can use any seasonings that you want. If you want to make them Mexican, just want to use salt and pepper or sesame seeds, poppy seeds. Nigella seeds are always a hit with me. More green onion even on the top would be nice. Okay, so our little pie tin's been in there for 5 minutes. This one's going to go in for 15. I think the pie will be fine for 20, so let's just see how it goes. All right, that's in. So I'm not going to do any more on a tray. Just for this test, I don't need to show you every one of them, but I've got, like I said, a little mini chaffle maker, so a little individual waffle, I guess you would say. That will put some mixture in that. They can obviously be used in a big waffle maker as well. Sorry, I just got to reach it across and there's like a million things there. Let's just see. Everyone's still seeing what I'm saying. Oh, God. Everything's doing so well today. Not even keeping me logged in. Okay, so we've done the pie tin. We've shown our different rings, and now we're just going to put some mixture into, I'll just put that away, we don't really need that anymore, into our chaffle maker. So full waffle maker, pie makers, even like I've seen like those sausage roll ones or any of those like little turnover ones, a quesadilla maker, you could put this in there and you just cook it till it's crispy. With the cheese that I said with the mozzarella, you could change that to any of them. So like where I just use that smoky chipotle one or jack cheese, ones like that, the American cheddar would be fantastic because then they just give that little extra saltiness and cheesiness to it. But still like with something like a Swiss or a mozzarella, so you get a little bit of cheese stretch, which is always lovely as well. So I've got some feta. Just letting that heat up a little bit, but I don't think it really matters, to be honest. Another thing, like, because I've got some here ready to go. Today we had ours served with the Big Mac sauce off the website. So you can make your own Big Mac sauce, which is freaking delicious. And I just had that with bacon and avocado. And I would totally rate it as a meal. I'm full as full. I had 2 of these buns with just a teaspoon of that, or probably half a teaspoon of that on each one. 1 slice of bacon on each, and I had probably about 1/4 of an avocado, just diced, because it's shepherd's avocado season. I don't know who's like me, but yeah, shepherd avocado, but awesome. They're the best as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I'm not seeing anything there. I'm like really having a bad time with the internet, but I'm sure you guys are on there because they would be screaming out at me. Okay, so we've got our chaffle maker. I know you can't see it, it's hidden behind a Thermomix here. I don't think it can move out of the way. It's only got a really short cord, but you'll see it when it's done. So we're just going to spoon on some mixture. Careful to not overfill the chaffle maker or stick it too close to your MacBook. And pray to the gods that it works, right? And then just push it down. I'm sure that'll work. So I thought, just like I said, using what I have in the fridge. So we use the chorizo today instead of bacon. So the normal recipe has bacon in it, but I'm just using the chorizo. I thought I'll just grab what I've got. Now I've got fresh herbs in the garden, which I didn't have time to go and grab because I was late. So we're just going to use, that's why I thought I'd keep a little bit of the spring onion, because I like to have something green in anything I ever cook or make, if you hadn't noticed. Okay, and I thought I've got some cherry tomatoes, so I'm just going to quarter the cherry tomatoes and pop them into it. So basically just making a little bit of a salsa. But I'll put some of the everything but the key, oh God, I'm suffering. Everything but the bagel seasoning in it as well. So just some diced tomatoes. We've got some beautiful shepherd's avocado here. It was nice to actually go so long with avocados at a reasonable price here as well too. We had all those, you know, cyclones and stuff like that before, and obviously this side of Australia was burning while the other side was flooding. Our avocado prices went up, but it's been nice to have them, you know, $2 or less for so long anyway. This one's just like my favourite part. So I'm just going to dice that up. Pop that in. I'm not fussy. Do we have a little scraper? This is my scraper to lift that. Pop that into there. We've got a quick open anywhere. So I've just got some South Cape Danish feta here. I don't think it's going to open for me. Okay. I don't usually use knives to get into things, but today we're making an exception. I'm just going to pop out a little bit of that and dice that up. So I'll have a quick look in a minute, but like, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this recipe on there. Did you actually think it was going to be something hard to make? If you haven't followed a lot of my recipes yet, I want you to try them. I've got this feeling that sometimes when I take, you know, a pretty picture of something, people think the food's harder to make. We've just been talking about that lately. That is it, you know, if I just throw up a picture that looks like, you know, I just made it like 5 minutes ago and threw it together in a bowl like this, will that fare better than something that, you know, is all styled and pretty and stuff like that? But anyway, I'd like to know if you had actually looked at them and wondered if they were like, you know, hard to make and why you hadn't tried them just yet. But as you can see, like, it's so easy and it's something that you can just add extra stuff into. Like, honestly, I used to do, in a cafe that I worked in for 7 years, we used to do a lot of burgers. So I used to get creative. We'd have ones like with ramen noodles in it, or your 2-minute noodle packs. You just like soak them and throw them into things. And you throw in like leftover chicken or beef roast, pork roast, anything like that, curry powders, any seasonings that you wanted to, a few eggs, any grated vegetable. And then I actually did them like in a little bit of oil or a spray oil pan. But you know, they were like always so popular and they were so tasty. So I'm just going to do a little bit of that seasoning into that. So like, see how easy that was? And it's just like going to be a delicious salad. I've probably got some cucumber hiding in the bottom of the crisper too. That I'll either have it or the snails in our fish tank. But if it's good, it can go in there. Let's check my I can't even pick this thing up because it's too hot. I wonder if I can get it like that. I don't know how far you guys can see. I don't think you can see. It's getting there, but like, I'm just going to leave it in there a little bit longer. But basically my chaffle has gone brown on the top, but we want it to be a little bit cheesier and nicer. Okay, so I'll have a quick look at the questions, but was there any other way I was going to show you how to do this? No, because we're doing it in a pie tin. I think the pie tin will cover it off, but you could do these also, like I've got a crown top muffin tin or something like that. So you could do them as muffins for kids' lunches or your lunch and that as well. Fill them with anything inside them, like things like, let's just say even a blue cheese stuffed green olive in the center for something tasty that's got that little bit of twang flavour, a little bit cheesiness, you know, a little bit of fattiness in that as well. We can see that these have started to brown. I'm going to just have a quick look at that pie. So it's still soft, so it's probably going to take longer because it's just got more of the mixture in it. But they're going well, so they've still got 7 minutes, so I have to flip them. So we'll have a quick look at questions. But the Big Mac sauce is also on the website. So if there's any recipes you're looking for our website, when you go on to madcreationshub.com, you'll actually see there is a search bar. It's got like a little magnifying glass on either your mobile or your desktop. And you can key in any word and we'll actually cross-reference that word now. So our searches before was a little bit harder on the website, but now basically you could put in Big Mac and it'll pull every recipe that I've even referred to our Big Mac sauce, say for instance, that might have been used on, say, our wraps with the Big Mac, with our Australian burger and the Big Mac sauce, or in a Big Mac salad bowl. So it'll pull up all of those recipes. Or you can always just go to Google and go Mad Creations Big Mac, Mad Creations Bagel, Mad Creations Cauliflower. And it'll come up with every recipe that I've done. Okay, so I know because we get a lot of questions going, I can't find this recipe. And it's like Google is this great search, network that you can just go on and you can type in Megan Ellum cauliflower bun or Mad Creations cauliflower bun, and it'll come up with our 2 cauliflower buns and probably our cauliflower wraps, because I've done a few things with cauliflower over the years. I'm just going to pop that over there. That really needs to go into a container. Let's have a quick look at the questions. But yeah, the new site, I hope everyone's enjoying it, has a lot more userability and more features to make it better for all of you. So, alrighty, let's have a quick look at these questions. I hope there's some. Means somebody's watching. We got lots of highs. Definitely a great idea. I've just logged in. What larger size egg rings did you use? Now, do I have a measuring? Yes, I do. Okay. So my standard one, this is the one that I've had like forever, since I actually created this recipe in 2018, is exactly 10 centimetres in diameter. So 10 centimetres across, or 4 inches. So your standard egg ring is, I think, only 7. Oops, I'm throwing it on the ground. Sorry. So you can see I've got really hard mats here. That's why it did make a funny noise. So you can see it's quite a lot bigger. You can still do it in the smaller ones. I would take it all the way to the top, because this is actually, the bigger ones are all probably not quite as doubly thick, but they're a lot thicker. So you could use a whole egg ring and fill it all the way to the top or higher if you wanted to. You can use like scone cutters or a cookie cutter. There's lots of different shapes that you could use to make it with. But that is the one that I use. I have put a link in the equipment on the recipe as well, because I found these ones, they're silicone. We're testing one in the oven now to see how it goes in the oven, because obviously you can cook your eggs in this in a fry pan. You put your egg in, then you flip her over, and you've got something to pull the egg ring, the silicone off and not burn your hands, because that's actually got like silicone at the top. And you can flip that off and you've got a perfectly shaped egg ring. These are the same size, and I think they were $11.50 delivered the very next day. I actually got them yesterday in the from Amazon. So I use Amazon Prime, which I think cost me $8 or $9 a month. I get most of the stuff I get free delivery on, and you get like a TV station thing that you can watch some TV on. I got no clue what's on there. I know I watched Boys, which was a really good series. But anyway, yeah, they're the ones that I use, but 10 centimetres or 4 inches in width. Today I've done one in a pie tin that's in the oven as well, but you could do these in your pie makers, big ones, little ones, whatever. If you're going to do a bigger one, just remember it's going to take longer to cook, and while they do, you'll see that the consistency is quite firm. I'm just going to get something to actually have to flip these little suckers over soon. If it's in a bigger one, it might be a little bit softer and might not flip perfectly. But you could also do them in like a cast iron pan on the stove. You could do it in a frying pan, just flip them. So you could actually just cook these like, breakfast or whatever. Once they're cooked, they can be stored in the fridge or in the freezer. So in the fridge, I would store them up to 4 to 5 days. It just depends. Like if you've got kids in that opening and closing fridges all the time, food is not going to last as long. We've got several fridges in our house, so we can stick things into fridges that don't get open as often, and there's only the two of us anyway. And surprisingly, our fridges don't get opened as often as most families because we don't tend to cook as much. But they can also be frozen. They can be frozen before they're cooked, and they could be frozen after they're cooked. Now, if you're going to freeze before, I would recommend that you actually shape them onto a tray, freeze them individually like that on the tray, take them off the tray, break them off the tray, like just put it on like baking paper or something like that. And then either wrap them individually in like a plastic or place them flat into a bag with pieces of baking paper between. You could bake straight from the freezer, I'm sure. It would take longer. I don't know the times for that. But you could just defrost overnight and then cook. They might just take a little bit longer because there will be probably a little bit more of a water content from the cauliflower after it's frozen. So, but if you're going to freeze them when they're cooked, just pop them in a Ziploc bag straight into the freezer, pull them out and cook them in a toaster if you wanted to, or in a pan to reheat. So like I would defrost them overnight. They won't cook in a toaster from frozen straight away, but they would, but they probably take quite a few times around. So yeah, they are great in that way. So you could mass make these. And so it's a good thing to do when you've got cauliflower cheap as well. And as I'd already said, you can do this. I've got crap underneath my nails. You can do this with frozen cauliflower as well. You could substitute any other vegetable. So if you're not low carb, like potato, of course, could be used. Sweet potato, if it was whole sweet potato, as in all sweet potato, replacing the 500 grams of cauliflower, they will add up in carbs, but it's still something that could be like a nice little treat. But pumpkin, a little bit of carrot, any of your radish family and that as well. Kohlrabi would be beautiful in it. So I'm just going to take out this tray. We're not going to stick it on top of our wood board. I'll just move that forward. Over there. That can go out of the way. So these should take roughly around about 20 to 22 minutes to cook. So I'm just going to show you that it's that easy to flip them. And I wish I could show you exactly what, I can probably show you on one. Here we go. Can you kind of see that? So you can see it's like starting to brown, like just anywhere like there's probably little bits of cheese. Now, let's see how you work. Nah. It's too hot with that little thing. I'm going to show you from doing it in the oven, but I'm going to flip her over and then let's see if, oh, look at that, it comes off. Easy. So now I've got one like that's got a little bit of a lip shape on it from the egg rings from Amazon. So you can see them there, ready to go back in. They only go back in for another 5 minutes. So 5 more minutes. And our pie will probably be ready then too. Oops, we did forget about our chaffle over here. Let's see if anyone had commented to say, hey, chaffle. And as you can see, this looks amazing. This is, well, I'm just going to put that down for a second because it's probably going to be a bit hot in a second. I'm just going to pull this off. Sorry, very difficult to reach. Old kitchen. So this is where I was saying like about cubes of cheese and that. I don't think this will be really cheesy if I go to pull it apart. No. But can you imagine if like you had cubes of like mozzarella and or put some in between it. But it's like nice and crispy. I know you can kind of hear with my microphone here. But soft inside. So, you know, you could do these again and freeze them or have them ready for lunches and stuff like that and then just reheat in the toaster. You can put butter and Vegemite on top of them. You could put anything on top of them and they'll just come out delicious. You can put on your Big Mac sauce that we were just talking about. But when the other ones are ready, I'll show you what it looks like with my little topping. I'll just put that over to here. But yeah, chaffles, easy. The 5-minute timer had gone off. I had it. Sorry, I missed that. Could see the chaffle maker well before you move the Magimix gizmo. Oh, okay, so I moved the thing in the way. So this is basically like the little chaffle maker. Again, these are just on Amazon. This is like it's got a brand, but it's not like a Dash one because I think a Dash one for us Aussies is like $160 or something like that. That one works just as well. So yeah, that's I don't know, I can't remember what Dave bought it for. This one doesn't have an AU plug, but it was before they came with those, but I think they're available now. I don't think we've got any other questions. So we've just got like 5 minutes till the other ones are ready, and then we can top them on there. So for anyone tuning in, if you didn't know, it is our, I was going to say 20th, that'd be a lot, 6th birthday today. We do have 20% off in store as well. So if you log into our Mad Creation store, there is 20% off our cookbooks, bundles and ebooks, albeit but the Everyday Keto Cookbook, which we've currently got at 50% off, and our Egg Crate, which is our 3 egg fast ebooks all together. The code for the sale, what is it? Got no clue. Normally I'm ready with all this sort of stuff, but I wasn't really going to talk about it. But anyway, it'll be here somewhere. Let me have a quick look. Somebody else can write it in there. MAD6, so MADSIX. So if you add MAD6 in, you'll get 20% off your cart when you go through the cart. Just remembering that Everyday Keto is not included. However, if you buy in one of our bundles and stuff like that, it will be included in our set bundles. But yeah, it's interesting that we're still here 6 years later, still doing the same thing, still with low carb and keto. It has been a fun 6 years. I've been keto for just over 6 years myself, and we were blogging prior to that, but changed it to low carb mixes and Mad Creations in March 2017. So yeah, it's been a bit of fun and kept us out of mischief all this time, but I think, yeah, there's probably close to a few thousand recipes now, so definitely keeping me out of mischief. Okay, and we've got 1 minute to go, so I'm going to clear this out of the way so you can see these little suckers when they come out, and just how easy it is to make them look a bit pretty with my nice little Mediterranean salad, I'm going to call that one. Alrighty, let's just turn that off. Alrighty. So there is still half a bowl of mix over there, so it does make around 10 to 12. I might actually do the one that came in the... I'm just going to flip these back. I just cool them on the mat, but I flip it back over because it's got the seasoning on the other side, so it just stays all nice, just in case it gets a little bit sweaty on there. I'm going to pop that over to there, and we'll get this pie out so I don't forget it's in there. So for anyone just tuning in, we also did one in a pie tin, and I put cheese in the middle of it. We'll let that one there. So as you can see, they can definitely be held up with your hands. They're a really nice consistency. You could use these still like as a burger bun, but if you do eat this with a burger, like a meat patty and one each side, and let's just say the Big Mac sauce and some lettuce and tomato or something like that, it's going to be really filling. Okay, but I would personally go for it. There's just a little bit of some nice salsa, salad, cucumber salad, cucumber salad, guacamole, any of those sort of things on the top. That really did not want to come out. It's just that avocado is all sticky. Nice olives would be lovely with this too. I think I've got some hiding in the oven somewhere. In the fridge. And I might just put a little bit more of that on the top. Oh yeah, and I can grab a little bit of our crispy chorizo. Pop that on the top. So, pretty good, huh? Also perfect for eggs Benny or anything like that as well. But yeah, nice and easy. Let's see. I don't know. I think this will really have to take a little bit of time to come out of this pie tin. It's still very hot, but I think give them that a bit of time, it'll come out there. but we won't get that out. Anyway, I'm going to have a quick look at some questions, and if there's nothing else, I hope you really enjoyed the recipe today. We'll enjoy eating it for sure. And the recipe is on the website. It should be in the link. So Louise is saying, I love your cauliflower and bacon hash browns in the Keto Loco cookbook. So yum. So yeah, they actually were influenced by these. You can see that they're not the same, but they are very much like a sister, an older sister or a younger sister, because actually these ones came earlier. But we do try and work on different recipes that are quite along the same veins, because it's like, you know, if you make at home, you made hash browns or you made fritters or you made waffles, they're all different, right? But essentially they're kind of the same sort of batter, you just change it slightly. So same sort of thing. So these ones are a nice, easy recipe that I think anyone can make, and they are forgiving. So where I said it's got the coconut flour and the almond flour, all you need to do is add something that you can actually like get that same risotto feel of the mixture. So just think of like a risotto but cool, so not like where it's still like got that beautiful glossy buttery consistency on the bottom of the plate, but you know, if you put a risotto in the fridge overnight, that's kind of what the consistency you want it to look like before you bake them. You don't want it to be dry, so you don't want to ever overdo anything. So if you're going to say substitute the almond flour with coconut flour, I would only add say an extra tablespoon max, and then leave the mixture and just see what happens. You could use some chia flour, or as I said earlier, hemp seeds would be great as well. I can't even remember what I used as a thickener in those cauliflower hash browns. But that for me with Keto Loco was probably one of the most surprising recipes, because I thought the picture was really terrible. I think in every book I have one that I just go, oh my God, what was I thinking? And it's kind of like at some point I just go, oh, I just can't take another photo. But that one, just no matter what I did, nothing looked good. But when we launched the book, it was one of the most popular recipes in the book as well. So it just goes to show that cauliflower breads can be extremely popular. Now that was one of the things that I did actually put in the new update for the recipe as well. These, and I'm going to make it with the rest of the mixture and take a photo of it tomorrow, would make amazing breadsticks. So what I would do is I would just like shape them onto the baking tray, and I would actually just use this, or if you've got like one of those little breadstick baking trays, which I do have, you could just squish it in there and bake it. But just use one of these and just slide it in so that you've got like some, you know, consistent size breadsticks. They'd be great for like dippy eggs and stuff like that. So little breadsticks. And if you wanted to do like garlic butter, either in the mixture, so like when you do the bacon, put the butter in and put garlic in it and herbs or something like that, and put garlic butter through it, so it'd be like garlic butter cauliflower buns. Or you could even pour the garlic butter or brush it over while they're hot and have it as hot garlic bread. Because if you've followed me for a while, you know I'm not a huge cauliflower lover in the way of just what it tastes like, generally speaking, or I wasn't. I'm kind of liking it more now, but I've always, described myself as the cauliflower hater. But now, using it this way, like I don't eat it and think I'm eating cauliflower. I actually really enjoy the flavour. So I think that cauliflower garlic breadsticks would be sensational. So there's another little one for you anyway. But yeah, I was really surprised with Keto Loco being so popular. Okay, so I've just logged in, and so we've done that. So at least everyone's seen that it was all done in the Chapel Maker. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to get off now. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope to see more of them. We do have our new Egg Fast 3.0, the Crackening, coming out on Wednesday this week as a huge ebook. It has 55 plus recipes, nearly 130 pages, 5 meal plans, all new recipes, and the only way to get it at the moment is for anyone that's ordering the egg crate, because we didn't want anyone to miss out if they wanted to buy the other Egg Fast ebooks at the moment, that they can get it in a whole bundle. But otherwise, keep an eye out for it Wednesday. Our testing team will be showing you some photos. I've seen some people interacting today because there's lots of great recipes in there, and I hope it goes really, really well. But anyway, thanks for tuning in for today. I'm just going to come and turn that video off, and I will try and come up with something great for next week. See yous.